In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to be explaining the exact 1 to 3 mechanical strategy that consistently gets you an average of 5% per month. What I'm actually going to do throughout this entire video is even live test it in front of you on the live markets so I can show you how to execute it as well. Throughout this entire period, we're going to be talking about the golden bullet strategy. Now, a lot of you come from an ICT background where you know about the silver bullet strategy, but this truly takes it to the next level. This strategy requires absolutely no directional bias. It is a simple 1 to 3 take profit system. And finally, it has a strict kill zone timing, so you don't have to sit on the charts every single hour of the day. Now, I've briefly overviewed it over here, but if you do want the entire overview with all the bullet points, you can get access to that in the PDF down below. Just click one of the links and you'll get full access to it as well. The step-by-step is very simple. Essentially, what you're going to be looking for is exactly this. We wait for Asia range to form as a consolidation. We then wait for one sweep of Asia. We wait for a minor change of character, the pullback, and the final golden confirmation, which is what I like to call the engulfing candle. Once this engulfing candle actually closes up, we now have for sure that golden confirmation and we can finally enter. Overall, how does it look on the live charts? I pulled 4 examples that almost look entirely identical. Have a little look. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is not just the only 4 examples. Almost every single trade looks exactly the same. So if you want to see how we got these types of results with this exact strategy, stick around for the rest of the video and be sure to pay attention. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so now we've had a brief overview of what the strategy looks like and a few examples. Let's actually get into some live testing. And I know you guys are going to love that because you actually want to see how well it performs in the real life markets. What I've gone ahead and done is actually put the strategy right on the right hand side with the step-by-step guide so we don't miss any trades at all. Remember, it's about 95% completely mechanical. However, there is a tiny bit of discretion when it comes to that minor change of character. So we're going to be keeping that in mind. Now, in terms of the backtesting software we're going to be using, it is no other than FX Replay. Genuinely speaking, I've been using FX Replay for years, and you can see some of the data points that I've got after. I believe I've personally tested maybe 29 years of data on this actual app, and it is the best thing ever. If you seriously want to improve your trading and something that will really make a difference, you have to get something like this. It gives you analytics, it gives you everything you need, and makes your backtesting so much quicker than everything else. Yes, you could backtest on TradingView, but you're not going to get the speed that you want and also the quality of analytics as well. So if you do want to go ahead and use that, there is a free trial, I believe, with FX Replay. But if you do decide to continue with your subscription, you can actually get the best discount possible using one of the codes down below or on screen right now. So definitely go ahead and use that and let's get straight into this. Now with FX Replay, it's built up very, very simple. You open up the chart and you can actually put the date range. So we're going to be testing January of 2024 from start to the end. Now there's a few things you need to note. We are going to be trading this strategy on the 5-minute time frame. So I've got the 5-minute time frame hooked up over here. We then can actually see, and when we press this go to, we can go to the next open day or the next silver bullet session. So let's get straight into this. The first step is going to be this, our Asia range. From that point, we look for one sweep of Asia range, a minor change of character. In this occasion, we didn't get any setup. So we're going to be moving on to the next day over here. Now, already what we can see, Asia range has now formed. We've got a sweep of Asia range at the high, a minor change of character over here. So we're already at step number 3. Finally, we're going to be waiting for a pullback and then a continuation. So let's actually see how that plans out. Okay, so that is the candle. That engulfing candle has broken away after the pullback and the change of character. So what we're going to do, we're going to get straight into our trade. Stop loss just above the recent high, so around 13.2 pips. We're going to set it at a 1 to 3 risk to reward every single time because we want to keep it as mechanical as possible. All I'm going to go ahead and do now is press place order. It already puts everything in, so it's really, really quick, and we set that in. Okay, cool. As we're moving onwards, let's just see how this pans out. So as price is started to really make a move down, I'm going to move my stop loss just above over here. So I'm now officially at break even. Let's just see. Okay, so it's already moved to a nice 1 to 2. Remember, we want to take a mechanical 1 to 3 take profit. It's either a break even or a loss or a 1 to 3. And that is it. So that's going to be our first trade of the month on the 3rd of January. So really good trade, followed everything step by step. And just look at how similar it looks to every single other trade. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to move to the next day open and the next session. So we're moving to 8 o'clock timing. So what have we got here? Asia range, sweep above the high. Let's see if we can get some lows. So remember, we're going to have to be looking for some sweep or some minor change of character. Doesn't seem like we're going to get it. Plus, we're moving past 11 o'clock already. So no trade at all for this entire day. We move on to the next day. And look at how simple FX Replay just really makes it. Asia range is now formed. We've taken the lows over here. The good thing is we haven't taken the high, so only one sweep. We are then going to wait for some sort of minor change of character. Let's just see if we actually get that. Doesn't seem like we're going to be getting it there either. Let's see the timing. We've now passed 10 o'clock. Okay, so one of the prerequisites, if you do remember, is we need to keep our Asia range within a certain area, right? So when we look at our rectangle over here, it has to be within one standard deviation. This right here took it way further than that. So this change of character for me is not the best kind. And as you can see, it did have a very deep pullback. Let's just see if it actually worked out. So on this occasion, it actually, okay, there we go. So even if we had entered, we would have entered the loss there. This is why this little rule, the prerequisite, saves you from so many losses. So keep that in mind. Again, we're going to move on to the next daily open. Next session. Cool. So we've now passed Asia range. We haven't got any sweep of either side yet. So let's see what actually happens. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be sweeping the lows. Seems like we're getting some sort of change of character over here. And okay, our timing is now going to be gone. So if you had wanted to enter this as a risky trade, potentially you could have entered right there. But for me, the pullback is not big enough. We want it at least to fall back a little bit and then we enter. So let's just see how that works out. Price eventually just continues up. Cool, we're going to move on to the next day. It's as simple as that, guys. You want to keep it as mechanical as possible. Look at that. Now price has actually swept the low already. We've had that change of character. Let's see if we can actually get into an entry. Okay, no. So we're not getting that. We're still sweeping the lows. So let's see if we get anything. Doesn't seem to be anything at all. And also we're reaching just outside of our London kill zone. So we move on to the next day. As simple as that, guys. That's all you want to do. Next day, what can we see? We've got a sweep of the highs and the lows. So we're not going to consider this day. With directional bias, you can actually get into this. And to be honest, my full elite strategy actually does include daily bias and directional bias. But when it comes to something as mechanical, you can't be looking at something like that. So yes, we are going to miss out on some entries. This actually would have been a nice buy if you didn't want to keep it mechanical. But just a few variances that you can actually stick to. Cool. Next day. You can see when you've got a mechanical strategy, you're not going to get the most amount of entries in an entire month. Possibly going to get maybe between 5 to 10, something like that, maybe even less. For January, I can't exactly remember what we got over here, but let's see. Okay, so when it comes to something like this, we've got a sweep of the high and a sweep of the Asia lows as well. If you were keeping this a bit more discretional, you could actually enter. There we go. So I would actually be entering on something like this. Now, I know, for example, if you want to keep it entirely mechanical, what you can go ahead and do is forget this, sort of stick to the only one sweep of Asia. But if you do want to keep it a bit more discretional, this for me actually fits my full elite strategy plan. So in this example, this is what you would actually be entering. However, if you did want to keep it entirely mechanical, you would be avoiding it. So again, it just depends on what you actually want to go through. The mechanical strategy that we've looked at and the data, them data points are already done. So January, I believe, had what, an 8% sort of gain or something like that. But I'm actually going to be entering on something like this because I know that this is my A+ setup. So I'm going to be pressing place order just to show you what it looks like. Place order, sell side, save, and then we get in. Okay, so price is already moving nicely. I'm going to put my stop loss just above over there. And let's just see. So for those of you that want to keep this entirely mechanical, you can start to take profits at around 1 to 3, or take profits at that area. But for me personally, what I like to do to take this to the extra level, I like to observe price action. So as soon as I see this right here, I'm considering that price has already reached its maximum and it's not going to continue all the way down. Let's just see how it continues. Okay, cool. So I'm going to be taking profits at this zone because it does look like it's pulling back all the way. So I'm going to close it right there, save. So as you can see from the actual charts that we've got, so far from the close positions, we've got a win of 3K and a win of 1K already as well. So we're going to move on to the next day open and the next silver bullet session. Asia range has come in over here. Let's just see, do we get a minor change of character at all? So yes, is it within our Asia range standard deviation? Yes, it is as well. Let's just see if there's anything that we could enter. Okay, so if you do actually want to enter mechanically, this would actually fill the step-by-step process. So we've had a minor change of character. We are then going to look for this buy position over here, stop loss just above or just below, and then we aim for a 1 to 3. Simple as that. So we go place order, save, and there we go. That's the buy that we're going to be looking at. So let's just see how this is looking. Remember, the objective is you want to go break even as soon as possible. In this case, we actually entered a loss, so we are still up 3% for the month. Let's just wait and see how this turned out. So we're going to move on to the next day. Next day open, next session. Cool. So we've got nothing yet. Are we going to have any sort of sweep at all? Doesn't seem so. Okay, so we've got a sweep of the lows, but this is coming in after the session, so I'm not interested at all. We're just going to move on to the next open. Cool. So now we've got Asia. Asia range has been massive. So remember, we are going to get the lowest quality setups at this point over here. Let's just see what happens though. Okay, still moving down. So not what we want to see at all. So no entry again for that day. But you can see when you've got a massive Asia range, it's going to be a very low quality setup. So we're going to move to the next daily open and the next session. 8 o'clock has come in. Asia range has been swept along the sell side. We've now had a minor change of character. For me, this actually looks good. So as prices had that minor change of character, I'm going to wait for that slight pullback. Let's just see, do we get any? Yes, we are starting to get something over here. Price is giving us a bit of consolidation around here. Okay, there we go. So for me, that looks good for a buy. We've had a minor change of character. The pullback and the engulfing candle looks great. We're going to enter, go for that 1 to 3 mechanical take profit system right there. All we're going to do, place order, buy, and there we go. Okay, so it seems like it's not entered it properly. Let me just put place order again. So it seems like it's not doing it for some reason. Let me just manually put this in. So we're going to be going for a buy, risk amount 1, stop loss is going to be at 1.8606. Our take profit is going to be at what? 8934. 8934. And that's going to be it. Save that. Cool. We've got 1% in on that. So let's just see how this goes. Okay, so price is starting to move all the way up over here. I can actually expect for price to give us a little bit of a pullback. So again, your break even and everything like that, you could go to break even as soon as possible, as soon as it makes sense. But for me, it seems like a lot of this price action is still open. So I'm just going to wait a little bit and see how this goes. Okay, so it's coming back to this area. It is starting to react from it. If we get a move up from this, let's just see. Okay, there we go. So I'm definitely moving my stop loss to break even at this point. Let's just see where it moves. Nice. And okay, so just about touching it, and there we go, break even. So another example of a nice little break even over there, and we're still up 3% for the entire month. So let's continue on to the next day. What have we got over here? So we've got the 18th of January. We're going to be looking at potential sells over here. Why is that? We've got the minor change of character plus the sweep. So we're just going to wait for that pullback. Do we even get it? So London session is starting to kick in a little bit. Okay, cool. So this actually fits. Okay, so it doesn't fit my plan. As you can see over here, it's actually swept this side as well, this side of Asia, all within London session. So again, this type of entry is going to be risky because you could either go something like this all the way down, or potentially price may react and just continue upwards. This is the confusion that a lot of people have when it comes to two sweeps of liquidity. As you can see, not the clearest of price action. Let's see where price moves, and eventually it moves to the downside. So a bit risky in that sense. That's why we try to avoid these types of trades. So all we're going to do, we're going to move on to the next day, next session as well. So here, what have we got? We've got a sweep of the lows. Price has got that minor change of character right there. And it does seem like price may actually give us some buys. Let's just see how that reacts. Okay, so not yet. Let's just wait and see. So we've got a minor change of character right here. Let's wait for the pullback. Okay, so the pullback is there. There we go. That's going to be our entry. So again, we're going to be entering a buy. Stop loss just below the recent low. And we're going to set it at what? A 1 to 3, as per usual. So we're going to place the order. I don't know exactly why, but it doesn't seem to be connecting to it like before. So again, I'm going to press place order. There we go. 1%. Yep. So if it ever does bug out, just click it again and it should work. Again, our objective is to go break even as soon as possible, really. So price is starting to push up. Okay, so we've got that pullback right there. Okay, so it's sweeping. Let's see, does it actually start to break up? So again, just for safety, I'm going to push it up just to this kind of level. Shouldn't really come back there. Okay, perfect. I'm going to move my stop loss again to this kind of range over here because we've had a proper breaker structure up top. So the way you manage your trade is also going to be quite important. And okay, there we go. Our take profit has actually been hit over here. So very, very nice take profit. And all we're going to do, we're just going to move on to the next day. So we're already up 6% for this entire month. We're going to move to the next daily open. Next session. All right, there we go. So Monday, what have we got over here? So we've got a sweep above. Let's potentially see, are we going to get any sort of entry? And there's a sweep below as well. So we're not going to consider any more entries really. This is going to be deemed quite risky. Yep, there we go. You can see over here, it's had a minor change of character and it's looked like it's starting to push up. But again, look how deceiving it is when you've got a sweep above and below. Not the best type of scenario that you want to enter on. So here we've got our next session. So this is going to be our Asia session. Our Asia is still within one standard deviation, so we can still look for sells. In comparison to some of the previous days, it's roughly around the same in terms of Asia session, so we're still going to be looking at that. Let's just see, do we actually get our entry? So we've got a minor change of character right there. Okay, so for me, that actually looks decent, to be honest. So I'm going to be entering on them sells right there. Stop loss just above. 1 to 3. Very, very simple. All we're going to be going for is place order, sell, and we save it. Simple. Now let's wait and see how this actually reacts. Okay, perfect. This is where I'm now going to be pushing my stop loss just over there. As we push even further, let's just see. Okay, I'm pushing it to break even now. And there we go. Full take profit has been hit. So we are up 9% basically for the entire month. Now let's move on to the next day. Next daily open. And we are going to be moving to the next day over here. Cool. So moving on to the next day, we have got the 24th of January. Let's just quickly see what we can actually get into. Is there potentially any other setup? So this is going to be quite far away. And we're starting to get that minor change of character. Let's just see. Nope, a lot of manipulation at that point. Remember, when news does come in, that still does play a massive factor. So you don't really want to be entering on them types of things. And again, there's going to be no entry at all for this entire day. So we're going to move on to the next day, next session. So we've got our Asia range. Cool. So we're sweeping the top. Let's just see if there's potentially any sort of entries, if price does actually break down. So we've got our first minor change of character. Nothing yet. And price has moved really far away. So again, nothing for that entire day. Next session. Asia range. Okay, so this has really moved quite far away. This is not really what we want to be looking for, to be honest. Yeah, so we're just going to move on to the next day again. Next daily open. Next session. Cool. So what have we got? Asia range has been swept above and below. So again, we're not going to be looking for that type of entry. That's not what we want to look for. Again, it just creates a lot of confusion in the market. You don't really know where you want to be entering. So we're just going to move on to the next daily open and the next session. So it is coming up to the 30th of January. So potentially this might be the end of the month. Let's just see. Cool. So we're getting that minor change of character over there. We've already broken past this level here. Let's just see if there's any sort of pullback. Nice. So there's a good pullback here. I'm going to be waiting for the next few candles. Let's just see if there's anything significant. There we go. So this, for me, that looks amazing. I'm going to get in on the engulfing candle, stop loss just below the low, and a 1 to 3 take profit system again. So this one takes us past just above the Asia highs. And we're going to be entering place order, buys. Very simple. Now we let this run. Again, management is always going to be very key. So the low's been created. Hopefully it doesn't exceed it. Perfect. I'm going to be pushing this up just there. Let's see how this moves. It's coming back to test that area again. Great. We're going to be moving our stop loss just below over here, or potentially even break even, to be honest. Let's just see how this moves. And do we hit our take profit? Yes, there we go. So just about tapped in literally the matter of a session. So as you can see, I believe the 30th of January is the final day. So we've got one more day. Let's just see for this entire month. So next daily open. Again, we're going to go to the next session. Okay, so this Asia range is way too expansive. So I'm not going to get into any trades at all, no matter how good it looks. It's just going to be deceiving. Again, if you really wanted to enter aggressively, you could have entered on something like this over here, but I doubt it's going to hold up. Okay, so it actually does on this occasion. But yeah, massive Asia range over here. So we're actually going to end up on everything over here. So we've now finished the whole month of backtesting. We've actually ended up on just over 11% gained in this entire month of January. So let's actually get into the analytics of the strategy. And so here are the analytics for what we've just gone through. As you can see, for the entire month, we've ended up on plus 11.6%, which is in fact even better than what we've had before. When I first tested January 2024, I only got 8% for that month. So seems like I must have missed out on some trades. Now, in terms of the win rate, it is exceptionally high, 85%. But I must say, this is not something that you're going to get every single time. Even with directional bias, it's not always going to be something like that. Generally speaking, if I'm ranging between a 50 to 60% win rate, that's actually a good amount. Now, in terms of the risk to reward, we've got 2 winners, 6 and 1. This is obviously down to some of the losses as well. And let's see some of the days. In terms of the days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, amazing days. Friday has got some of the losses. So overall, you can just see how successful this actually was. You're not going to get trades every single day, but what you are going to get is some consistency. And that's exactly what we've proven, not only just here in the live backtesting, but throughout the entire year of data. So if you do want access to this entire PDF guide, plus everything else that I've been talking about throughout this entire video, be sure to click one of the links down below and you'll be getting access to that entire thing. Plus, you'll be getting a free 7-module advanced liquidity course as a bonus as well. So it's completely free, quick and concise, and very easy to understand. So if you guys have enjoyed this video and you want me to do even more, definitely please comment down below and let me know. Please subscribe because it actually really contributes to the channel. And remember to use that FX replay discount. It really does help if you are going to be using this for the longest while. And if you haven't already, watch this 1 to 3 strategy that I personally use just to get a bit more data. So yeah guys, take care and I'll see you all in the next video.